Yo, what's up everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into Xenopiece and ranking every sword in the game from worst to best. If you're grinding in Xenopiece, or just love sword content, you're gonna want to stick around for this one. And hey, if you enjoy the video, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. It really helps me out a ton. We're on the road to 300 subs, and with your help, we can definitely hit it. Let's get into it. Alright, starting off at the bottom of the list, we've got the good old Katana. Now don't get me wrong, it's decent for when you're just starting out, but compared to the other swords in Xenopiece, it just doesn't hold up. The damage is low, the range is mid, and the abilities, pretty basic. It's a solid beginner weapon, but it gets outclassed fast. So yeah, Katana takes the L as the weakest sword in the game. Coming in just above the Katana, we've got the Esther sword, and honestly, this one's kinda disappointing. It looks cool and all, but the damage is low, it's super expensive, and worst of all, it's really hard to use effectively. Unless you're cracked at the game, you're probably gonna miss more than you hit with it. For the price and effort it takes to get, the Esther sword just isn't worth it, which is why it's sitting down here near the bottom of the tier list. Next up, we've got your sword, the 15 Robux Game Pass weapon. Now this one's got some clean animations, and the range is actually pretty decent. But that's where the hype ends. The damage is super underwhelming, and for a paid weapon, you'd expect a little more punch. It's definitely not the worst sword in the game, but it's not doing you any favors either. If you're just looking for flashy moves, sure, grab it. But if you're trying to deal real damage, there are way better options out there. Alright, now we're moving into some of the better swords in the game. And up next is the Rauru sword. This one's honestly pretty nice, especially if you're into smooth animations and flashy moves. The abilities feel clean, and it's got some solid utility for both PvE and PvP. But here's the thing, the damage just doesn't hit as hard as you'd expect. Like, you can pull off a full combo and still feel like your opponent is just brushing it off. It's kinda like having all the sauce but not enough spice, you know? Now don't get me wrong, it's not a bad weapon by any means. It's reliable, it's fun, and for newer players, it can actually carry pretty well. But once you get your hands on some of the stronger swords, you'll notice right away that Rauru starts to fall off a bit in terms of raw power. So overall, I'm putting the Rauru sword right in the middle of the list. Good, but not quite good enough to hang with the top tier blades. Next up, we've got the Shadow Blade. And honestly, this one's a bit of a mixed bag. On paper, it has the highest damaging move in the game. Sounds like it's got to be a top contender, right? Well, not exactly. That crazy move? It takes nearly 20 seconds to execute. I'm not even exaggerating here. By the time you finally land that hit, your opponent could have probably teleported to another planet in real life. You're just standing there waiting, and the other player's already on the other side of the map. Now, the other moves? Yeah, they're not really impressive. The damage is barely noticeable, and you're better off using a faster sword with more consistent damage output. And on top of all that, the Shadow Blade is one of the most expensive weapons in the game to get. So you're spending a lot for something that's kinda unreliable. It's more of a style weapon for showing off than a practical one for serious fights. So while it looks cool and has that big damage potential, Shadow Blade is a lot of flash with not much substance. It's a flex, but you're better off saving your resources for something that's more consistent. Now we've got the Toji sword, and honestly, this thing is just busted. It's probably the cheapest weapon in the game after the Katana. But don't let that fool you. This sword does insane damage, to the point where it can literally one-shot bosses like it's nothing. For something this cheap, that kind of power feels completely unbalanced, like you're using an endgame weapon right from the start. Toji isn't flashy, but if you want raw strength, without spending a ton of resources, this is the sword to get. Next, we've got the Virgil sword. This one's a beast, but with a little catch. Very short range. Like you'll be up close and personal to land those hits, which can be risky in bigger fights. But here's the crazy part. All of Virgil's moves can one-shot anything. Yep, bosses, enemies, you name it. What really makes Virgil insane is the cooldowns. 2 of its moves have super short cooldowns of 3 seconds and 6 seconds, meaning you're basically spamming those one-shot abilities back to back. So while you have to get in close, Virgil can melt anything in its path, Definitely a top-tier sword for raw damage output. And here it is, the best sword in the game, the Jin Wu sword. If you're looking for raw power and utility, this is the weapon you want. Let me break it down for you. So first off, 2 of its moves are kinda meh. They're not really doing much to impress, but forget those. It's the other 2 that put Jin Wu on another level. These moves have insane range, covering nearly the entire island, and they have extremely short cooldowns. We're talking less than a second to execute. No waiting around like with Shadow Blade. You can spam these moves back to back and clear out entire areas before your opponent even has a chance to react. What makes Jin Wu even crazier? It's really cheap compared to other top-tier swords, so you're getting a broken weapon for a fraction of the cost. To put it simply, Jin Wu is the GOAT. The range, speed, and effectiveness make it the undisputed king of swords in the game. And that's it, guys. That's the full list of all the swords in Xenopiece ranked from worst to best. What do you think? Did you agree with the rankings? Or do you think I got something wrong? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear your opinions. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. We're getting close to 300 subs, and your support means the world to me. Catch you in the next video. Peace out and happy grinding.